Okay, I think we're live. Hi guys. This is gonna take a while, so buckle up. Um, Jamie Bigham still thinks Jerusalem fell in 607. So since he only believes the Bible, I'm going to use the Bible to prove him absolutely, positively wrong, as well as the other Jehovah's Witnesses out there who think Jerusalem fell in 607 BCE. Now, I did go over to your video, Jamie, and I did see, I've already explained this, but obviously you didn't get it, so I'm going to explain it again. Now, I have a lot of Bibles. I have an NIV, but that's an archaeological study Bible. I have an NASB, but that is also a cultural study Bible. I have a KJV, which is a regular Genesis through Revelation Bible, but unless you're raised with the KJV, you really don't get the nuances of it. And I don't trust the New World Translation. So, the Bible that I'm going with is the Holy Bible, the Douay Rheims version. This is a Catholic Bible. And because of that, it is from the Latin Vulgate, which is different from what the other translations are translated from. So it does have different books and whatnot, but I will explain it to you. Okay, so our story actually starts in what Protestant Bibles call 2 Kings 24. But I'm going to start a little bit earlier to give a little bit of background. Like I said, this is the Douay Rheims. You will see right here, I don't know if you can see it or not. This translation of the Bible says 4th Kings. Again, this is translated from the Latin Vulgate. So it's 4th Kings, 2nd Kings for any Protestant Bibles out there. And I will start with 23. So if you're following in your Protestant Bibles, it's 2 Kings 23, verse 28. Now the rest of the acts of Josiah and all that he did, are they not written in the book of the words of the days of the kings of Judah? In his day, Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, went up against the king of Assyria to the river Euphrates, and King Josiah went to meet him, and was slain at Megiddo when he had seen him. And his servants carried him dead. This is talking about Josiah. And his servants carried him dead from Megiddo, and they brought him to Jerusalem and buried him in his own sepulchre. And the people of the land took Jehoahaz, the son of Josiah, and they anointed him king and made him king in his father's stead. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Ammital, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah. And he did evil before the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done. And Pharaoh Necho bound him at Riblah, which is in the land of Emath, that he should not reign in Jerusalem. And he set a fine upon the land of 100 talents of silver and a talent of gold. And Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim, the son of Josias, king in the room of Josias his father, and turned his name to Jehoiakim. And he took Jehoiakaz away and carried him into Egypt, and he died there. And Jehoiakim gave the silver and the gold to Pharaoh, after he had taxed the land for every man to contribute according to the commandments of Pharaoh. And he exacted both the silver and the gold of the people of the land, of every man according to his ability, to give to Pharaoh Necho. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Zebidah, and the name of his mother was Zebidah, the daughter of Phadiah of Rumah, and he did evil before the Lord according to all that his fathers had done. Okay, that ends chapter 23. Now we are going into 24. So Josiah was a righteous king, but he went against the Pharaoh of Egypt at Megiddo, and the Pharaoh of Egypt slaughtered him. So now we are in a bad king's reign. In his days, in Jehoiakim's days, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Jehoiakim became his servant 3 years. Then again he rebelled against him, and the Lord sent against him the rovers of the Chaldees, and the rovers of Syria, and the rovers of Moab, and the rovers of the children of Ammon. And he sent them against Judah to destroy it, according to the word of the Lord, which he had spoken by his servant the prophets. And this came by the word of the Lord against Judah, to remove them from before him for all the sins of Manasseh, which he had did, and for the innocent blood that he shed, filling Jerusalem with innocent blood. And therefore the Lord would not be appeased. But the rest of the acts of Jehoiakim, and all that he did, are they not written in the words of the days of the kings of Judah? And Jehoiakim slept with his fathers. And Jehoiakim his son reigned in his stead. And the king of Egypt came not again any more out of his own country, for the king of Babylon had taken all that had belonged to the king of Egypt, from the river of Egypt unto the river of Euphrates. So before Nebuchadnezzar came up, Judah belonged to Egypt, basically. All right, get that straight. Judah belonged to Egypt before it belonged to Babylon. All right, here we go. Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he began to reign, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem. The name of his mother was Nohesta, the daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem, and he did evil before the Lord, according to all that his father had done. At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was surrounded with their forts. And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came to the city with his servants to assault it. And Jehoiakim, king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother, and his servants, and his nobles, and his eunuchs. And the king of Babylon received him in the 8th year of his reign. And he brought out from thence all the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the treasures of the king's house, and he cut in pieces all the vessels of gold which Solomon king of Israel had made in the temple of the Lord, according to the word of the Lord. And this is important. Verse 14. And he carried away all Jerusalem, and all the princes, and all the valiant men of the army, to the number of 10,000, into captivity, and every artificer and smith, and none were left but the poor sort of the people of the land. This is the first time that the people of Jerusalem are being taken captive into Babylon. This is when the 70 years starts, people. Did you hear me say anything about Jerusalem being destroyed? No, because it wasn't. Okay? That's not until chapter 25. And if you would get off your butts and stop believing Watchtower and actually read your friggin' Bible for once, you would understand that the destruction of Jerusalem comes later. Jehoiakim and everybody at Jerusalem was taken captive in 607 BCE. Get that in your heads. That was not when Jerusalem was destroyed, people. Hey, this one guy. Okay, going on to chapter 25, verse 1. And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign, in the 10th month, the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came, he and all his army, against Jerusalem. And they surrounded it, and raised works round about it. And the city was shut up and besieged till the 11th year of King Sedecius, the 9th day of the month. And a famine prevailed in the city, and there was no bread for the people of the land. And a breach was made into the city. A breach was made into the city. This was when they invaded the city. They did not invade the city in chapter 24. Jehoiakim came out and surrendered. Okay? So they breached the city in chapter 25. And a breach was made into the city, and all the men of war fled in the night between the two walls by the king's garden. Now the Chaldees besieged the city round about, and Sedecius fled by the way that leadeth to the plains of the wilderness. And the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king, and overtook him in the plains of Jericho. And all the warriors that were with him were scattered and left him. So they took the king and brought him to Babylon, to Riblatha, and he gave judgment upon him. And he slew the kings of Sedecius before his face. Okay, going down to verse 8 of chapter 25. In the 5th month, the 7th day of the month, that is the 19th year of the king of Babylon, came Nebuzaradan, who is Nebuchadnezzar's king of the captain of the guard, rather, commander of the army, a servant of the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar, into Jerusalem. Verse 9. And he burnt the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and the houses of Jerusalem, and every house he burnt with fire. What does burning with fire demonstrate, people? It demonstrates destruction. So Jerusalem was not destroyed until the 19th year of Nebuchadnezzar, which was 587 to 586 BCE. Get it in your heads, people. Think for yourselves and stop letting Watchtower think for you. This is when Jerusalem was destroyed. Nebuchadnezzar took the king of Jerusalem and his family captive in 607. Jerusalem was not destroyed until 587 to 586 BCE. It isn't that hard, people. Get it through your thick minds that Watchtower is lying to you and has lied to you ever since you came a part of this wicked organization. And it will continue to lie to you until you stand up and you say, hey, look, we've had enough. We're leaving, and we don't give a crap what you say. It's right here, people. It's right here. I don't know how much clearer I can be, or how much clearer anybody can be. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for stopping by, this one guy. Bye.
Miss Kylie, is that your name?